Welcome to Southern Girl Knits, episode 14, which is very appropriate since it's tomorrow's Valentine's Day, the 14th. Yay! Welcome. I'm Tish, and this is Southern Girl Knits, and you can find me on Ravelry as TishKnits33 or Instagram as TishKnits. So, I'm trying out a new pair of glasses today, my other pair of glasses, to see if it cuts down on some of the glare. I've tried everything. It's like you can have me with good lighting and glare, or bad lighting and no glare. I don't know. This is a little bit better though, right? This isn't so bad. These are the anti-glare glasses, so we'll see. Okay, so where to start? For the first time, I've actually named this video before I sat down to record it, and it's called Blame It on the Books. I have gotten very, very little knitting done since I saw you guys last because I have been reading all the things. Like, seriously. I don't know what it is. I guess I just hit this thing where I've had just really good books back to back to back to back to back, and they're the kind of books that once you pick them up, you can't put them down. So I finished last time when we talked. I'm not sure if I had started The Island of Lost Girls by Jennifer McMahon. I'd either started it or was about to start it, but either way, I finished it. And somebody in my knitting group, Carol on Ravelry, she is Mini Knitty. She's in my local knitting group. And she suggested that I read the, now I'm not sure the trilogy is called. Origins Trilogy? It's by A.G. Riddle. The first book is, The Atlantis Gene. So I started that. Couldn't put it down. Read it till it was done. Like, wow. Like, seriously, just blew me away. I think I read it in 2.5 days. Started the second one, which I don't have here in front of me, but I think it's called The Atlantis Plague. That's book 2. And then Atlantis World is book 3. So here's the thing. I had suggested to someone else that they read this, and they couldn't find the book. And come to find out, so I did a little research, come to find out A.G. Riddle self-published this book, because you can do that in the Amazon, the Kindle store, the bookstore. You can self-publish. You don't have to have a publisher. So he self-published this trilogy himself. And you can kind of tell that because there's certain things in the books where you're like, if he had had a publisher and editor, he probably wouldn't have done, like there's this habit he has of changing people's names. And he has a good reason for it. He explains the reason that he changes their names. But it does add to a little confusion. Just a tiny bit. It's not bad. It's not terrible. Other than that, it's phenomenal. The storyline is very inventive, very ingenious. It's sci-fi, moving into dystopian almost now. I'm in the middle of the second book, and I can see where we're moving towards that dystopian feel. And so who knows what the third book holds. I'm kind of excited. But, like, seriously, I feel like that's all I've been doing. Except I did go ahead and start my sweater. I did start a little early, obviously. It's not like I'm eligible for a prize in the cowl. But it officially starts tomorrow on the 14th. And I wanted to have a little bit of progress to show you guys. And so I'm really excited about that. I've got it in my Rainstorm Studio bag. And I'm knitting the Stroker by Ysolda Teague. I've already, can't show you the pattern. Oops. It's a pay-for pattern. And one of these pictures is actually a good picture. And I will find it for you. There it is. Yeah, there's nothing on this page. Wrong way. Let's try this again. There we go. So I picked the same colors as she did, but I changed the yellow to pink. Okay, I should say I picked the same body color. That gray color that she picked, I picked that for my body color as well, which is, there we go. And it's the Letty Lopi. I'm sure that, or Letlopi. I'm sure I'm just butchering that. It's an Icelandic wool. Ordered it off Etsy, and somebody in the group told me I was telling you how I got like this amazing price for this yarn, and apparently Craftsy has some sort of, they're doing kits. I guess there's a sweater thing going on. I don't know, but they have kits with this yarn, so it's like uber cheap. I haven't checked. I don't know if it's still uber cheap, but it was. So I was able to get the yarn for the whole sweater for like less than 40 bucks. It was awesome. It was amazing. So I did swatch like a good girl, which is a good thing that I did because the pattern calls for a size 7 needle. And I ended up having to go down to a 6. And so, which is weird because I find now that I'm actually a little bit looser of a knitter than when I started, which I think is probably par for the course. I think a lot of knitters are like that. They start off fairly tight and loosen up as the years go by. So who knows? I don't know. I'm obviously a tighter knitter than Ysolda Teague. That's all I can tell you. Sorry, I have not had enough coffee today. It's one of those days. It's been one of those years. 2015 is not shaping up to be the greatest of years. It's just been really chaotic here in the McAllister house. We've had a lot of things go down. I have actually, right now, I wasn't even going to record today without giving out too much personal information for the sake of privacy. I do have a family member that if you're the praying type, I would appreciate prayers for. It's not a terrible situation, but it's enough that I'm stressed out. And so it's a very close family member whom I love dearly. And so any prayers you want to send out there, I'll take your good wishes, your good vibes, your thoughts. But as a praying woman, I will definitely covet your prayers. So back to my sweater. Let's see. I started, yay, right? And look, I'm actually to the end of the first ball of yarn. I caked it up, which is a good thing. I caked up 2, so I can go ahead and join the second cake today. So you can see you don't get very much out of it. And this is dark. I hate that because you guys don't, well, I guess you don't really need to see stitch definition. It's stocking net. There's nothing fancy. It's rib and then stocking net. And, you know, I was going to be one of those people that I'm like, you know, I want to make the body longer. And I started thinking of all these changes that I wanted to make in my head. Then I'm like, no, I'm going to follow the pattern. Period. I'm not, if it were a sock or a cowl or a shawl, I'm comfortable making decisions. Hats, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll change this here and this there because I know the basic structure and I know what I'm doing, right? This, not so much. I'm new to this. So I'm going to follow the pattern to the T. Period. So I am 5 rows away from putting in the stitch markers for the decreases. And then it's round and round she goes. So it's not going to be too much fun to look at, but you know, I'm actually having fun knitting it because it is stocking net. So I can just sit and knit and not have to worry too much about the pattern, you know? So that's kind of nice. What else? Like I said, the books have taken over. So that was pretty much the majority of my knitting this past week was swatching for the sweater and getting the sweater on the needles. I have hubby's socks here, and I'm not sure if they have grown since you have seen them last. It seems like they have, and I can't quite figure this out, okay? So this is the Felici, Knit Picks Felici in the Rustic Cabin colorway, and I have never had the stripes in Felici vary in size. Look at this one here, and then the yellow gets a little smaller, and then this orange color gets a little smaller, and then the rusty red color gets even smaller. And now I'm on the gray, and I'm baffled. I'm truly baffled. I've never seen Felici do that. Usually they're more exact. So, I don't know. I guess we'll see. Maybe it's a fluke. I don't know. Who knows? And then somebody asked me about my honey cowl, which I did get to take out one evening while I was sitting around visiting with some friends. So I did take that out and got a little more progress done on that. And as you know, I don't like my cowls very big. So this guy probably doesn't have too much more left before I'll be binding off, because I don't like large billowing cowls all up in my face. Especially with this type of yarn that has, can you see that it has like, can you see the halo? Yeah. I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but it's that yarn that has kind of a halo to it, which is typical with single ply yarn. So, I'm not going to want it all up in my nose. In fact, I'm already sniffling. And then the last thing that I have to show you guys, knitting wise, is my dad's socks, which are all but done. In fact, after I recorded last week, I sat down and finished them. I literally have to Kitchener the heel. That's it. Like, I'm done. I just have to sit down and Kitchener this heel together. Both to the same point on both heels. And I'm just, like I said, got caught up in the books and other things. And was like, oh, I'll Kitchener those tomorrow. And then a week later, and they're still sitting there waiting to be Kitchener together. Yeah, I know. And it's also been a busy week. It's my husband had his birthday on the 11th. So we had birthday dinner, and I've just kind of made it a birthday week for him. You know, just kind of having a fun week. In fact, we're wrapping it up tonight because we're having friends over, ordering pizza. The friends we're having over, she's a baker. Like, she bakes these yummy, yummy, yummy desserts. So she's making his birthday. Actually, he wanted cupcakes, so she's making cupcakes. And we're ordering pizza from a local pizza place and just beer, pizza, hanging out, having fun. So it'll be the end. It's going to be the end of a fun, crazy week, right? So I'm kind of looking forward to it. And then tomorrow is Valentine's Day. Yay! So I found out today, Russ went ahead and told me his Valentine's surprise, because he's like, you need to be prepared for this. We have this favorite Italian restaurant that we just absolutely love. It's kind of I don't want to say a hole in the wall, because it's not small. It's not a chain. It's owned by an Italian family. And it's like the next town over, like maybe 20 miles away or so. But it's this great Italian restaurant that's just, I'm in love with it. It's just wonderful. It's the ambiance, it's not just like the food, it's an experience. You go there, the food is good, and that's a plus, but really you go there for the ambiance and the experience and I don't know. It's my favorite place to go. And we don't get to go a lot. And so he made reservations. Wow. Go Russ. Because if he wouldn't have, we would have never gotten in, right? I mean, this place is going to be packed out. So, very, very excited. And then, what else? Oh, I finished Medium. I'm done. I finished it. For you guys that follow me on Instagram, you know this, right? Because I posted the picture and I was like, sad face, it's over. And that makes me sad because it was a good show. And honestly, I have this love-hate relationship with that last episode. I mean, I know that they didn't know they were getting canceled. It was very last minute, so I don't know if they had to throw that episode together or what, but it made me sad. I don't know. So now I don't know what to watch. I need something to binge watch. Somebody tell me what to binge watch. Of course, I feel like at times I've hit the bottom of Netflix. Like, I feel like I've watched all the shows. So I've watched like Criminal Minds, been there, done that. Love that show. It's one of my favorite shows. I don't know. If you have any suggestions, I am open to suggestions on good binge watching shows, right? Let's see. like I said, I told you this was a quick show because the books have absorbed my life, so I don't have as much to show you. Oh, I did want to share this with you because on Russ's birthday night, I made his favorite dinner, and instead of a cake, I got him a king cake because he and my son have February birthdays, so they're the only two out of the family that get to have king cakes for birthday cakes. So we capitalize on that, right? And the cake that my mom had sent from Louisiana came with this great little story of the history of king cakes. And I wanted to share that with you guys because you take for granted sometimes when you grow up with something that everybody knows what you're talking about. And that is not the case, right? So, if you will indulge me, I want to read the history of king cakes to you guys. The celebration of Mardi Gras, which means Fat Tuesday in French, if you're curious. The celebration of Mardi Gras and king cake parties are unique to New Orleans, although I will say that they are celebrated in other places in America. It's not like only people in southern Louisiana celebrate Mardi Gras. It's just that's where the tradition started. The Mardi Gras season officially begins on the 12th night of Christmas, which is January the 6th, also known to Christians as Epiphany. Since the 3rd century, the Epiphany has been observed as the day the 3 wise men found the infant Jesus. King cakes were initiated to celebrate this holy day, and a small plastic doll is placed in each cake as a symbol of finding the baby Jesus. King cakes are oval in shape and decorated in the carnival colors, purple, green, and gold. Purple is representing justice, green represents faith, gold represents power. As the cake is cut, each person looks to see if their piece contains the small plastic baby. Traditionally, to continue the festivities through carnival, the person who finds the baby brings the king cake to the next celebration. And yes, we take that very seriously. If you find the baby, the next time you get together, you better have a king cake. So back in the day when I was a kid, they actually would put the baby in the king cake before you bought the king cake. So it was literally a surprise as to who got the baby in the king cake. It was a big deal. Well, because of the way the world works now, it's considered a choking hazard. So they put the baby on top of the cake and you have to insert it yourself so that they're not liable for you choking on the king cake baby. I'm not going to insert rant here. I'm just going to leave it at that. So basically what I have to do now as a mom is I have to be the one to insert the baby into the king cake. And so here in the McAllister house, you can judge me all you want. My kids never believed in Santa Claus. They never believed in the Easter Bunny. We just didn't do that. Just not a thing for us, right? And that's okay, right? Different strokes for different folks, right? But one thing we do is my children firmly believe in the king cake, and they get very, very excited about finding this baby. Every year, it's a big deal as to who finds the first baby in the king cake. And so, being the mom, knowing where I place the baby, I make sure that every kid gets to have their chance to be the first one to find the baby every year. They are none the wiser. They're not the ones that buy the king cakes. They're not aware of the fact that people are choking on king cake babies and they have to be put on top of the cake. As far as they're concerned, that baby comes in the cake and no one is any the wiser as to where that baby is. Well, they're getting older now. And Lainey, my oldest, figured it out this year that I have been the manipulator of who finds the king cake baby. And I begged her, pleaded and begged with her to not tell her brothers. And she swore she wouldn't, and she didn't. But it wasn't 3 days later that Will, my middle child, figured it out. For us, for me, it was kind of like that day when your kid figures out there's no Santa Claus. It was very tragic. But the upside is I still have an 8-year-old who firmly believes that it's a big deal when he gets that baby. So the 2 older kids are pretty much have been threatened, you know, to not tell him about the baby. He has to figure it out on his own. He deserves a few more years of innocence of believing that he is getting that baby out of that king cake all by himself through the magic of the carnival season. It's the small things, people. It's the small things. So, let's see. I believe that is all that I have for you guys. I was going to answer some of the questions that I have on Ravelry. And the first question that was asked was for me to review the Interweave Knits magazine that I got. And I had every intention of doing that. I was like, ooh, what a wonderful idea. And now I can't find the magazine. So my goal is to go find that magazine today so that I can do that for next week, because it really is a good issue. And I flipped through it, 2 or 3 times, and there's actually quite a few patterns in there that are pretty awesome. So I do want to do a review of that for you guys. So yeah, but that'll be next week, because this week's kind of crazy, and I've decided that I pretty much have to finish that trilogy this weekend so that I can get some knitting done, because I'm pretty sure that you guys would like to see some knitting on a knitting podcast, right? And I want to knit the sweater. I'm going to knit this sweater, even if that's all that I knit on. Those poor socks for my dad might just have to wait. I mean, that's okay, right? Yeah. It's not like he knows they're coming. He's not expecting them. So if they have to wait, they have to wait. And I'll be okay with that. So, well, that's it. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend and a wonderful Valentine's Day. If you're not watching this till next week, I hope you had a wonderful Valentine's Day and an awesome weekend. And I will see you guys next week. And don't forget to always be awesome. Bye-bye, guys.